Hi YouTubers, it's Steve again calling from Rescape, my channel that seeks to aid and benefit people by making them aware and providing information to change their fundamental perception of reality. Day 11. Today I'm going to be talking about another structural alignment, structural alignment number 2. I don't know how I'm going to title it, but basically this one's going to deal with competition. And first I'd like to say that there's nothing wrong with competing, that if you play a game of basketball, pick up with your friends, like it's not a bad thing. But the problem is in our society, I don't know if this was like true like for Native Americans or like cave people, but like in the United States, like everything's a competition. So it eventually becomes a point where it's not healthy, and whole people can balance that. Like whole people, they can compete for fun and like have a good laugh, but like if they're doing important things, they're not competing. So I'm going to go into that and tell you why and how that works. So we'll start off again. All these examples I'm giving, it's not a bad thing to do. These don't break wholeness, but I'm just using them as examples. So first one, let's say you're playing basketball and you're on a team and you have an opposing team and let's just cut to the chase. You win the game. You just blow them out. So everyone's cheering and you're like, oh yeah, go me, go us. And the other team feels bad because when you lose, you don't want to lose. Now the problem with losing, the problem with competition is there's a loser, but the problem with losing is that you want to be the people that won. So everybody's like, well, it doesn't, a little friendly competition, no big deal. But if you say, well, is envy, a little bit of an envy, is that a big deal? Because when you put it that way, like, do the losers want to be the winners, right? Like they see the people that just beat them and they want to be those people. That's envy. So it can go that direction. Now, there's a lot to be said about this. Like in a capitalistic system, you have like free markets and how there's competition and like how that benefits production and like the quality of products and things like that. But that's not really how it works. That's not how capitalism works. That's not how whole people work. This is an example. The break from wholeness and competition is that you want someone to lose. So you have a desire and to do whatever, and then you also have a desire to defeat someone. So are you winning, or are you forcing someone to lose? So that's the break. Now the solution to the break is that if you're competing, you can do the exact same thing. Like if you check my video on purpose, like just change your reason. So like let's say you're playing basketball. It's just you and some other guy. So and you're competing, right? Because it's a basketball game. But instead of competing, just be like, I'm just going to put this ball into that basket as many times as I can. And if that guy gets the ball, well, I'm trying to put the ball in the basket. Why does he have the ball? I want the ball. And so you're completely ignoring him, and I guarantee you'll do a lot better. Like you will destroy him. And he's like, what happened? It's because it's not a competition anymore. You're not like clashing with him. Like you have a goal and you're just doing it. And that's how it works in capitalistic systems. Like when you have a business and they have their competitor, it's not like, oh, I'm going to make more widgets than that person. It's literally like, I want to make as much money as possible. And there's this other guy doing what I want to do, but regardless of what I do, I'm going to make as much money as possible. And they might set standards might be different depending on who the competitor is, but I guarantee those businesses aren't focusing on the competitors. They're focusing on customers and trying to make money. So same thing is true in the animal kingdom. Lion and gazelle. The lion's not competing with the gazelle. If you have two gorillas fighting, you could call that competition, but really they're just trying to survive. Like if you're an animal in the jungle, it's like you don't care who's trying to eat you, or you're just trying to survive. And so, and if you end up having to kill them in the process, well then tough luck for them because you're not dying. So you kind of get how this works. The key to this structural alignment is that you really have to resist the urge to want to defeat someone. If you can get to the point where you have your goal, and that person that is trying to beat you, because let's assume they're trying to compete, they're going to draw you back into that competitive mindset, and then you're not going to function as well because now you're worked up a little bit, or you're not really paying attention to what's going on because you've got someone that's threatening you or something like that. I mean, let's take an example with the basketball case. Let's say your team is playing against another team in basketball, and your team is taking on the structural alignment I'm saying. They're just going to put that ball in the basket as many times as they want. They don't care what the other team does. If the other team has the ball, they're just going to try to get the ball. Doesn't matter. Now, let's say the other team is just extraordinarily better than them. So even with this new structural alignment, they're still getting blown out of the water. Well, now what happens is if you have a goal, and you're not paying attention to your opponent, because, well, I even shouldn't have said it like that. See, I still have the competitive mindset. If you're paying attention to the environment and what you're trying to do, you'll get it done. Like, if you want it to happen, it will happen. So like for the basketball game, they'll just start like slugging some guy in the face. Be like, you just put, you're keeping the basketball from me. And just bam, punch him in the face. Give me my ball. And then they'll blow the whistle and be like, hey, you can't do that. That's against the rules. And they're like, what? What's the rules? What? It's like, okay. So there's this rule, you can't punch people in the face. Okay. And then, but they're going to do everything they can. So like maybe they make a rule, well, now they took the basketball and just went outdoors. They went outside. Like they're keeping the ball for themselves. It's like, you can't go out of bounds. And eventually they're just going to keep laying all these rules on them. Like, they would have won if it weren't for all these rules. And eventually they're just going to be like, what are all these arbitrary rules for? They're preventing me from putting the ball in the basket. I want to put the ball in the basket. What are these rules for? And then they would just quit. They'd be like, this game's stupid. And it wouldn't be about the game or the competition. It's just the fact they have an idea of what they want to do. And if they can't do it, they're going to go do something else. So this is how whole people think, and why whole people are highly effective at what they do. They don't get caught down in the petty things. Don't get bogged down. Like they keep very much clear in their mind what they want. And oh God, I'm probably going to forget something to say about this, but basically, competition is not bad. Competition is not necessarily as highly effective as the structural alignment I just gave you. Key is focusing on your goal, not on the person that's trying to compete with you. And you think, like, the way I say it, it sounds easy, but it's really not. Like, especially like when the stakes are really high. Like if you're in a knife fight and somebody's trying to like gut you, you're gonna want to kill them, or do something bad to them and keep them to stop. But the key at this point is, well, can I run away? If he's got you in a corner, it's like, is there a weapon nearby? It's like you're thinking of all these things. Like your focus is not on your opponent, because he's not your opponent. Your opponent is time. Like, you're running out of time, and your space is getting smaller, and things like that. Like, that's what you're focused on. And if it's a survival instinct, they could be a lot better fighter than you. But if they're trying, if they're trying to kill you, then they're competing, and then you're just going to destroy the universe just to make sure you get out of there alive. And I guarantee you that you're going to be the one winning and not them. Like, no matter what the situation is, your spirit will find a way to get through that. So, okay, this is a little bit about competition and the structural alignment. And if you have any questions about how to apply this alignment in certain circumstances, or just alignment in general, if I didn't explain it well enough or didn't explain competition well enough, and just post some comments, let me know. My name's Steve Robertson. This is Rescape Day 11. Thanks, bye.